Dr. Alan Carter stared at the computer screen, his eyes wide with disbelief. The signal patterns pulsed across his monitor in unmistakable sequences, too perfect to be natural phenomena. "Lisa, you need to see this," he called to his colleague without taking his eyes off the screen. Dr. Lisa Wright hurried over, coffee mug in hand. She leaned over his shoulder, and her breath caught. "That's not random noise." "No," Alan whispered. "It's been repeating for 3 hours now. Same pattern, same intervals." The Arecibo Observatory had picked up many strange signals over the years, but nothing like this. The pattern was complex, he had organized, with mathematical precision that could only be artificial. "Should we contact NASA?" Lisa asked, already reaching for her phone. "Not yet. Let's run the decryption algorithm first." For 2 days, they worked without rest. Other astronomers joined them as word spread through the facility. When the computer finally produced results, a hush fell over the room. "It's a message," Alan said, voice trembling. "And it's addressed to Earth." Within hours, government officials arrived. The observatory became a restricted zone. Military personnel set up equipment while scientists from around the world were flown in under secrecy. The message was simple. "Greetings, people of Earth. The Galactic Council welcomes contact." News of first contact spread like wildfire, despite government attempts to control the information. People gathered in streets, some celebrating, others praying. World leaders held emergency meetings while television channels abandoned regular programming to cover humanity's greatest discovery. We were not alone. 1 week after the initial contact, the skies above major cities worldwide lit up with aurora-like patterns. A massive ship, unlike anything humans had built, appeared in orbit. Smaller vessels descended through the atmosphere, landing in an open field outside the United Nations headquarters. The aliens called themselves Saurians. They had blue-gray skin that shimmered like oil on water. With 8 tentacle-like limbs and large, intelligent eyes, they moved with graceful precision. Their translator devices converted their clicking speech into perfect English. Ambassador Zextol spoke to the gathered world leaders with what seemed like friendship. "We have watched your civilization's progress with great interest. Earth has reached the developmental stage where contact is permitted. The Galactic Council invites you to join our community of worlds." People cheered. Humanity would enter a new age of interstellar cooperation and advanced technology. The stock market soared, and religious leaders spoke of cosmic brotherhood. Then came the terms. As a developing world, Zextol explained, Earth will receive Category 4 status. This means certain restrictions on technological development and resource usage will apply. All for your benefit, of course. The excitement in the United Nations chamber dimmed. Additionally, Earth will contribute a reasonable quota of mineral resources to Council projects. We require 60% of your rare Earth elements, 30% of your fossil fuels, and exclusive mining rights to your moon. President Harris frowned. That seems rather steep for new members. What benefits would Earth receive in return? Zextol's tentacles rippled in what humans would later recognize as amusement. Protection, of course. Many dangerous species exist in our galaxy. Without Council protection, your world would be quite vulnerable. The Chinese premier spoke up. Are these terms negotiable? The Council's wisdom spans thousands of years, Zextol replied. These terms are standard for worlds at your development level. As the meeting continued, Ambassador Zextol's friendly demeanor gradually changed. When the European Union representative suggested forming a committee to review the terms, the alien's skin darkened. Perhaps there has been a misunderstanding, Zextol said coldly. Earth was not invited to negotiate. You were informed of your new status. The Galactic Council has claimed this system as a protectorate. The truth became clear. Earth had not been discovered by benevolent allies. It had been found by conquerors who disguised their intentions behind diplomatic language. The first contact humanity had dreamed of for generations had become a nightmare. The room fell silent as Zextol's true intentions became clear. The alien ambassador's tentacles moved in slow, deliberate patterns as he continued his speech. The Galactic Council has classified Earth as a Class 4 developing world. This classification is quite generous, considering your limited technological achievements. President Harris stood up, her face stern. Ambassador, the people of Earth have not agreed to these terms. We expected a dialogue between equals, not demands. Zextol made a sound that might have been laughter. Equals? Your species has barely left its own planetary system. The Council has governed the galaxy for 12,000 years. There is no equality to discuss. Screens around the United Nations chamber suddenly displayed images of massive ships entering Earth's orbit. Their sleek, metallic hulls gleamed in the sunlight, weapon ports clearly visible along their sides. These are merely peacekeeping vessels, Zextol explained. Standard procedure when welcoming new protectorates to the Council. Admiral Frank Palmer watched from the back of the room, his military uniform crisp, his expression darkening with each word from the alien diplomat. He leaned toward his aide. Get me secure communications with all defense chiefs. Now. Secretary General Olivia Martinez rose to address the assembly. Her voice remained calm despite the growing tension. Ambassador Zextol, Earth wishes to establish peaceful relations with all galactic civilizations. However, we must insist on maintaining our sovereignty. The Xorian's skin rippled with colors that shifted from blue to deep purple. Sovereignty is a concept for developed worlds, Secretary Martinez. Earth will be allowed limited self-governance on internal matters only. Admiral Palmer slipped out of the room as Zextol continued. The Council requires immediate access to your lunar surface for base construction. Resource extraction will begin within 30 Earth days. And if we refuse, asked the Russian president. Zextol's tentacles went completely still. A demonstration may help you understand your position. Without warning, every electronic device on Earth shut down simultaneously. Cell phones, computers, power grids, satellites, all went dark in an instant. People around the world found themselves plunged into silence and darkness. Exactly 24 hours later, everything reactivated as if nothing had happened. Zextol addressed the reconvened emergency session of the UN. That was a minor demonstration using just one council ship. Imagine what the entire peacekeeping fleet could do. In underground military facilities across the globe, generals and admirals assessed the situation. Conventional weapons seemed useless against technology that could disable the entire planet's infrastructure without firing a shot. Earth has 30 days to prepare for resource collection and council occupation, Zextol announced. Resistance will result in regulatory measures. Admiral Palmer sat in the Joint Chiefs' secure bunker beneath the Rocky Mountains, surrounded by the highest-ranking military leaders from around the world. We can't fight technology this advanced, said the Chinese general. Their ships could destroy our major cities before we launch a single missile. Palmer slammed his fist on the table. So we just surrender. Let them strip mine our planet. Become slaves to these council overlords. What choice do we have? Asked the British admiral. Palmer stood up, his eyes burning with determination. We have something they don't know about. Something they can't possibly expect. He pressed a button, and a secure door opened. A woman in a lab coat entered, carrying a locked metal case. This is Dr. Samantha Powell, Palmer said, and she's about to show you why Earth won't be surrendering. The room went quiet as Dr. Powell placed the case on the table and entered a complex code into its lock. When she opened it, a soft blue light illuminated the faces of everyone present. 30 years ago, she said, something crashed in the Arizona desert. It wasn't from Earth. For the first time since the Xorians arrived, hope flickered in the eyes of Earth's defenders. Dr. Samantha Powell removed a small device from the case. It glowed with a soft blue light that seemed to shift and move beneath its surface. In 1994, a small craft crashed in the Arizona desert. We recovered this and other technology before eliminating all evidence of the crash. For 30 years, Project Phoenix has been reverse engineering these alien artifacts. Admiral Palmer nodded. Only 12 people in the world knew about this program. Until today. The military leaders leaned forward, eyes fixed on the strange device. This is a quantum shield generator, Dr. Powell explained. We've developed working prototypes based on the original design. When activated, it creates a field that bends light and other forms of detection around whatever it protects. Invisibility? Asked the German general. Better, Powell replied. Total sensor invisibility. The Exorians won't see us, detect our heat signatures, or even register our mass. Palmer pulled up a map on the secure display. We've already hidden key facilities across the globe. They think they can see everything we're doing, but we're running operations they have no idea exist. What kind of operations? The French commander asked. The door opened again, and Colonel Eric Davis entered. His special forces background was evident in his movements, precise, controlled, and ready for action. We've assembled teams from military and scientific backgrounds, Davis said. The best of the best, working in complete secrecy. He pointed to files displayed on the screen. Maya Johnson, former Air Force test pilot. She's been flying our prototype craft for 6 months now. The screen showed a woman in her 30s with dark skin and determined eyes, standing beside what looked like a sleek fighter jet with unusual modifications. Dr. William Chen, quantum physicist. He's developed weapons based on the alien tech that can penetrate their shields. The screen shifted to show a bespectacled man working on a device similar to the one Powell had brought. We have 23 teams operating globally, Palmer continued. For 3 years, we've been manufacturing advanced weapons and shield systems in underground facilities. We've launched stealth satellites that the Exorians can't detect. We've established a secure quantum communication network that can't be intercepted or jammed. Why wasn't this shared with all nations? Demanded the Chinese general. Security, Palmer replied simply. The fewer people who knew, the less chance of detection. But now, we need everyone. Dr. Powell activated a holographic display showing Earth and the positions of the Exorian ships. Their technology is still more advanced than ours in many areas, she admitted. But they have a critical weakness: arrogance. They believe we're primitive. They don't think we can possibly threaten them, which gives us our only advantage: surprise, Colonel Davis added. Maya Johnson's voice came through the communication system. She was inside a hangar deep beneath the Colorado mountains. Phoenix Squadron is ready for deployment, Admiral. Quantum shields are operating at 98% efficiency. What exactly are these Phoenix crafts? Asked the Indian admiral. Palmer smiled grimly. Fighter-sized ships equipped with shield technology and energy weapons. Not as powerful as their cruisers, but more than capable of damaging their systems. This is still a massive risk, the Russian general pointed out. If we fail, their retaliation will be devastating. And if we do nothing, we surrender everything, Palmer countered. Our resources, our future, our freedom. I don't know about you, but I'd rather fight. The room fell quiet as the military leaders considered the options before them. We have 29 days until their deadline, Powell said. The shield network will be fully operational in 20. And our weapons systems? Asked the British admiral. Ready to deploy in 25, Colonel Davis confirmed. Admiral Palmer looked around the room. We need consensus. Are we fighting or surrendering? One by one, the military leaders of Earth's major powers nodded their agreement. Then Operation Thunderbolt is a go, Palmer declared. God help us all. In orbit, the Exorian ships continued their patrol, completely unaware of the storm brewing beneath them. Day 29 arrived with dark skies and heavy rain across much of North America. The Exorians took this as a sign that Earth's leaders were downcast about their impending submission. From their command ship, they watched as human governments appeared to prepare their populations for the new galactic reality. Ambassador Zex Tool addressed the United Nations one final time. Tomorrow, the collection ships will arrive. The Council appreciates your wisdom in accepting the inevitable. Resource extraction will begin immediately, followed by the construction of Council bases on your moon. Secretary General Martinez nodded solemnly. We understand, Ambassador. Earth will be ready. What Zex Tool didn't notice was the small device hidden beneath Martinez's sleeve, a quantum communicator linked to Admiral Palmer's command center. They bought it, she whispered after the aliens departed. They believe we're surrendering. In the underground command center, Admiral Palmer received the message and looked at the officers around him. Initiate Operation Thunderbolt. All units to position. Across the globe, hidden facilities hummed with activity. Scientists made final adjustments to shield generators, while military personnel prepared for battle. Most of Earth's conventional forces remained visible, serving as a distraction from the real operation. Phoenix Squadron, prepare for launch, Palmer ordered. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Maya Johnson climbed into the cockpit of her fighter. Unlike traditional aircraft, this one was built with reverse-engineered alien technology. Its sleek design housed weapons capable of damaging Xorian ships and shields that could hide it from their sensors. All pilots, systems check. She commanded her squadron of 12. In orbit, the Xorians began moving their ships into lower positions to oversee the resource collection operations. The massive command vessel took position over North America, while smaller ships spread across the globe. Sir, the aliens are taking their final positions, reported Palmer's tactical officer. Wait for my mark, Palmer replied, watching the display carefully. When the Xorian command ship reached exactly 100 miles above Washington, D.C., Palmer pressed a button on his console. Execute Thunderbolt. Across the planet's surface, hidden shield generators activated simultaneously. Massive domes of shimmering energy appeared over major cities and military installations. The Xorian sensors suddenly lit up with alerts. What is happening? Demanded Zex Toll from the command ship. Where did these energy fields come from? Before his crew could respond, the mountain beneath them seemed to open up. The U.S. Defiant, Earth's prototype warship, rose from its hidden hangar. Unlike the alien vessel's smooth designs, the Defiant was angular and dark, built for combat rather than show. Captain Daniel Rice sat in the command chair, shields at maximum, weapons hot. Take us straight up to the command ship. The Defiant shot upward at incredible speed, its quantum shields rendering it nearly invisible until the last moment. The Xorian vessel detected it only seconds before impact. Evasive maneuvers, screamed the Xorian commander, but it was too late. The Defiant didn't ram the larger ship. Instead, it released a swarm of small devices that attached to the Xorian hull. These devices, based on their own technology, began shutting down the alien vessel's systems one by one. Simultaneously, Phoenix Squadron emerged from hidden bases worldwide. The small fighters moved with impossible agility, targeting the engines and weapon systems of the smaller Xorian ships. They have our technology. Zex Toll realized in horror. How is this possible? The Xorian command ship began to drift, its engines disabled. Captain Ray's voice came through on all frequencies. Ambassador Zex Toll, your ship is disabled. Your fleet is under attack. This is not the primitive world you thought you found. On the ground, Admiral Palmer addressed the emergency session of the United Nations, which was being broadcast to the Xorian fleet. For too long, the Galactic Council has preyed on developing worlds. Today that ends. Earth will not be your next victim. In orbit, Maya Johnson's squadron disabled the last of the Xorian escort ships. The Defiant moved alongside the drifting command vessel, extending docking tubes. Captain, reported the tactical officer, we've detected a small shuttle trying to leave the command ship. Captain Rice smiled grimly. Ambassador Zex Toll trying to escape. Disable that shuttle but keep the ambassador alive. He and I need to have a conversation about Earth's terms. News of Earth's victory spread quickly through the galaxy. The defeat of a Xorian fleet by a supposedly primitive world shocked the Galactic Council to its core. Emergency sessions were called as angry representatives demanded action. "This cannot stand," thundered the Vargan delegate, his scaled skin flushing red with rage. "Humans have violated every protocol of civilization. They concealed weapons development. They attacked Council peacekeepers." The Grand Arbiter, a tall, thin being with 6 eyes, raised his hand for silence. "The Council has never faced such defiance. We must respond with overwhelming force." 5 days after Earth's surprise attack, the response came. Jump points opened throughout the solar system as the largest punitive fleet in Council history arrived. 5 species contributed their most powerful warships: the reptilian Vargans, the insectoid Krell, the gaseous Mori, the crystalline Pix, and the machine-like Technari. Admiral Grek Thor of the Vargan battle cruiser Eternal Flame assumed command of the coalition fleet. "Primitive humans," he broadcast across all frequencies, "your rebellion ends today. Surrender Ambassador Zek's tool, and disarm immediately, or we will reduce your cities to ash." From his command center, Admiral Palmer watched the massive alien armada position itself for attack. Over 200 vessels, many larger than anything humans had built, prepared to strike. "They outnumber us 10 to 1, reported his tactical officer. Palmer nodded grimly. "Just as we expected. Activate the quantum jammers." Throughout the solar system, hidden satellites came to life. Invisible to Council sensors, they began broadcasting on frequencies that disrupted the aliens' communications. Aboard the Eternal Flame, chaos erupted as ship-to-ship communications failed. "What's happening?" demanded Admiral Grek Thor. "Restore communications immediately." "Impossible, sir," replied his communications officer. "Some kind of interference is blocking all quantum channels." Without the ability to coordinate, the massive fleet's advantage diminished considerably. Individual ship captains were forced to rely on visual signals and pre-planned maneuvers. Earth's defenders moved into position. The U.S. Defiant, joined by 3 sister ships constructed in secret, led the charge. Behind them came Phoenix Squadron, now expanded to 50 fighters. "Remember the Powell Doctrine," Captain Reyes reminded his forces. "We don't try to match their firepower. We target critical systems with precision strikes." The battle began as Vargan cruisers launched the first attack. Energy beams lanced toward Earth, only to be absorbed by the planetary shield grid. The human vessels scattered, avoiding direct confrontation with the larger ships. Maya Johnson led her squadron toward the Krell carrier ships. "Target their launch bays. Don't let their fighters deploy." Her fighters fired specialized warheads that attached to the Krell ships' hulls. Instead of exploding, the warheads released microscopic machines, nanites programmed to infiltrate and disable specific systems. Across the battlefield, the Council forces found their advanced weapons mysteriously failing. Shields flickered and died. Targeting systems showed phantom images. Power cores shut down unexpectedly. "How are they doing this?" screamed Grek Thor as his flagship's weapons went offline. "They're primitives. They shouldn't understand our technology." Dr. Powell monitored the battle from Earth. "The nanites are working better than expected. The aliens are so confident in their tech that they never developed proper safeguards against infiltration." The battle raged for hours. Council ships, accustomed to quick victories against inferior opponents, found themselves frustrated by human tactics. The Earth vessels never engaged directly. They struck quickly, disabled specific systems, and retreated before counterattacks could be launched. "We're not trying to destroy their ships," Palmer explained to world leaders watching the battle unfold. "We're demonstrating that we can neutralize their advantages." By the day's end, 30 Council vessels had been completely disabled. The rest withdrew to regroup, their neat formation now a disorganized cluster of damaged ships. Aboard the crippled Eternal Flame, Admiral Grek Thor received a direct communication from Captain Reyes. "This was just day 1, the human said calmly. "Tomorrow, we attack your supply lines." For the first time, In his long military career, the Vargan admiral felt something unfamiliar. Fear. The Galactic Council's military commanders gathered in emergency session aboard the Technary vessel, Infinite Calculation. Admiral Thor's scales had lost their luster, his posture no longer proud as he addressed his peers. We have lost 63 ships in 3 days of conflict. Hundreds more are damaged. The humans employ tactics we have never encountered. The Krell commander clicked her mandibles in agitation. They strike like prey animals, not predators. They avoid direct combat, yet their attacks are devastatingly effective. Their technology cannot possibly match ours, insisted the PIC's representative, his crystalline body glinting under the ship's lights. Our civilization has existed for millions of years. Dr. Samantha Powell stood in the captured Saurian shuttle, carefully examining the alien database they had seized. A team of Earth's best computer specialists worked alongside her, breaking through security protocols and extracting valuable information. I found something, called out one of the specialists. Records of other species who received the same invitation Earth did. Powell moved to his station, eyes widening as she scrolled through the data. There are dozens of worlds listed here, all classified as developing and placed under Council protection. She highlighted specific entries. Look at this pattern. Each world was visited, classified as primitive, then stripped of resources. Some were even depopulated entirely when they resisted. We need to get this to Admiral Palmer immediately, she said. Captain Daniel Reyes stood on the bridge of the U.S. Defiant, watching the tactical display as Council ships regrouped. A communication officer approached him. Captain, we're receiving an encoded transmission. It's not from Earth. Reyes frowned. Source. Unknown, sir, but it's using one of the frequencies we captured from the Saurian database. Put it through, but maintain security protocols. The main screen flickered, showing a being Reyes had never seen before. It had 4 arms and purple skin covered with intricate patterns that seemed to shift and change. I am Kazanar of the Taurian Resistance, the alien said. We have been monitoring your conflict with the Council. What you have accomplished is unprecedented. How did you find this channel? Reyes asked cautiously. We have spies within the Council. When news spread of Earth's defiance, we took notice. The aliens' patterns glowed brighter. For centuries, the Taurians have fought against Council oppression. We are not alone. The Nyx and Kaldorians also maintain resistance cells. You're saying there are other species fighting the Council. Many fight in secret, but none have achieved what Earth has done in open battle. We wish to coordinate our efforts. This information changed everything. Earth wasn't alone in its struggle. Admiral Palmer received both discoveries with careful consideration. If Dr. Powell's information is correct, and there are multiple oppressed species willing to fight alongside us, we have an opportunity to do more than just defend Earth. He called an emergency meeting with Earth's military and political leaders. I propose we take the fight directly to the Council. A strike at their primary fuel depot in the Rigel system would cripple their fleet's mobility. That's deep in Council space, objected the Chinese general. How would we even reach it? With help, Palmer explained. Our new allies have provided navigational data and security codes. They've been planning something like this for decades, but lacked the military strength to execute it. The plan was audacious. The U.S. Defiant would lead Earth's small fleet, joined by resistance vessels from 3 different species. While the Council focused its forces on Earth, this combined strike force would slip behind enemy lines. Maya Johnson piloted the lead fighter as the fleet approached the Rigel system. Jump complete. All ships accounted for. The fuel depot came into view. A massive structure orbiting a gas giant, surrounded by automated defenses, but with minimal ship presence. The Council never expected an attack this deep in their territory. All vessels, commence attack pattern Omega, ordered Admiral Palmer from the Defiant. Taurian and Nyx forces target the defensive platforms. Kaldorian ships jam their communications. Earth vessels, we're going for the main storage tanks. The coordinated assault caught the depot completely unprepared. Council defense systems, designed to repel large-scale conventional attacks, proved ineffective against the combined tactics of 4 different species. As the primary fuel reserves erupted in spectacular explosions, Palmer sent a message to the Council headquarters. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council fell silent as Earth's delegation walked in. Secretary General Olivia Martinez led the group, flanked by Admiral Palmer and Captain Reyes. Behind them came representatives from the Taurians, Nyx, and Kaldorians, species that had fought Council oppression for generations. The Grand Arbiter, his 6 eyes blinking nervously, spoke first. This emergency session will address the recent conflicts between Council forces and Earth, as well as the unfortunate incident at the Rigel fuel depot. Martinez stepped forward. Let's be honest about what's happening. This isn't a conflict. It's a revolution against tyranny. Murmurs spread through the assembled delegates. Many species had never heard such direct speech in these chambers. For over 1,000 years, Martinez continued, the Council has claimed to represent galactic civilization. In reality, you've systematically exploited developing worlds under the guise of protection. Dr. Powell activated a holographic display in the center of the chamber. These are the Council's own records, recovered from captured vessels. The display showed hundreds of worlds classified, exploited, and in many cases, completely stripped of resources. Some had been rendered uninhabitable after resisting Council demands. We have transmitted this evidence to every world in Council space, Admiral Palmer announced. The truth can no longer be hidden. The Vargan delegate rose in fury. This is treason. Guards, arrest these primitives. No guards moved. The security forces, primarily drawn from protected worlds themselves, had seen the evidence. Many had quietly laid down their weapons. The Council as you know it is finished, Captain Reyes stated calmly. But galactic civilization doesn't have to end. We propose something better. A true confederation where all species have equal representation. Several of the more powerful Council species erupted in objections. The Krell representative clicked angrily. Humans have no right to dictate galactic policy. They are newcomers, barely space-capable. Kazanar of the Taurians stepped forward. We aren't newcomers. My people were spacefaring when your ancestors still lived in caves. We were conquered, not protected. Earth has given us the means to reclaim our rightful place. Throughout the chamber, delegations began to split. Many Council worlds, particularly those with less power, moved to stand with Earth and its allies. Others remained loyally behind the old leadership. We propose immediate elections for a transitional government, Martinez said. All worlds, regardless of technological development, will have equal voting rights. The Grand Arbiter, seeing the Council crumbling before his eyes, tried a final appeal. This proposal would destroy thousands of years of stability. The galaxy needs structure, hierarchy. The galaxy needs freedom, Palmer countered, and justice. For 3 days, debates raged in the Council chambers. Outside, more ships arrived daily, vessels from worlds inspired by Earth's defiance, coming to support the proposed confederation. When the final vote came, it wasn't even close. 2/3 of the former Council worlds voted to dissolve the old structure and establish the Galactic Confederation. In a private chamber, the leaders of the remaining loyal Council forces gathered. Admiral Grek, Thor pounded his fist on the table. We cannot accept this. We still command significant military forces. We should crush this rebellion now. The plan was simple but desperate. A surprise attack on Earth while its ships were scattered across the galaxy. 20 Vargan battle cruisers, the last fully operational Council fleet, would strike directly at the human homeworld. They never reached their target. As the fleet prepared to jump, they found themselves surrounded by ships from dozens of species, former Council worlds now allied with Earth. Captain Rey's voice came through on all channels. Your time is over, Admiral. Surrender your vessels, and you will be treated fairly under Confederation law. 1 month later, Secretary General Martinez stood in the newly renamed Confederation Assembly as she was formally elected as Earth's first representative. Earth's journey to the stars began with a threat, she told the gathered delegates. But it has led to something remarkable. True unity among diverse species based on mutual respect, not fear. Admiral Palmer, watching from the gallery, allowed himself a small smile. Earth's fierce retaliation had indeed stunned the Galactic Council, but it was Earth's vision of equality that had truly changed the galaxy forever. In orbit above the Confederation capital, the U.S. Defiant sailed alongside ships from 100 worlds, once enemies, now allies in building a better future among the stars.